You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
All right, I was a little bit behind the ball on that one, but hello, everybody. Welcome to Extra Credits, where we're talking about video games, and nothing but video games. And sometimes video game butts. Joining me on this grand crusade is the one who is usually digging the NPC grave, but today he's taking a break from that to chat some good gaming with me. We have Caster the Gravedigger.
What's up? We're selling the high seas today.
Our matey, yes. We'll talk about video game piracy. We will be joined by our good friend Mugen Lord. He'll be along shortly, but in the meantime, I got a question for you, Caster. What you been playing, playa?
Marvel Rivals.
Yeah. I can say the same thing. In fact, I did something I swore I would never do. I paid microtransactions. I bought the battle pass.
Yeah, I bought a battle pass. Finally broke.
Honestly, it's not that bad of a deal. It's like $10 and it doesn't expire. So it's like, it's not a bad deal, you know?
Yes, yeah, you can just, play at your leisure, basically. You don't have to, rush to get everything, Like some battle passes, you only have, you have to, grind to get everything. And then it's if you want something that's further, and then what I like about it also is if you want a certain thing in the battle pass, you can go and grab that when you want it instead of having to grind through 67 levels of a battle pass to get something that you want.
Yeah, or it's like, okay, I got to play for 12 hours because if I don't, the skin's gonna disappear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Luxembourg says, how fast can we remake this live stream? I don't know. That depends, really, honestly. So yeah, I've been doing pretty good myself. I bought Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag recently. It was on sale. Originally, I was intending just to I was gonna play it for a live stream. I was gonna stream it on Saturdays. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna boot up the game. Make sure it works with the controller. 4 hours later, the game just pretty much died me in. So well, guess I'm not streaming that. So I'm gonna do KOTOR instead. But I gotta say, Black Flag is just as fun as when I first played it. That game sucks you the frick in. Have you played it?
I have it because I bought. I think it was about a year ago or so, and I still need to go and get around to do it. But I went ahead and bought there was a guy selling all the Xbox 360 Assassin's Creed games in one bundle for $50, and so I bought every one of them. And Black Flag is included in there, so I do need to play it. But that's a series I have not really played too much. I played Assassin's Creed 2 for a little bit, but I didn't get too far in it. So
I've beaten Assassin's Creed 4. That's really the only one I've actually played. I played a little bit of 3. I think I got stuck on the Boston Massacre mission because that takes place during the Revolutionary War. And I think I played a little bit of 2 because I bought the 2 collection on Switch, played the intro movie for an hour, and then I never touched it again. I eventually sold it. I am terrible. But Jason Ingram has arrived, and he's flexing his Phoenix might.
Yep. The other day, I managed to snag a limited scan game.
You got a limited run game.
I got a limited run game for cheap. It was sealed, of course, because all limited run games are sealed, because it's my scarcity. And I could tell this is a game that it's a very expensive game. I managed to snag it. Played one of those raffles, and I got lucky. And it's called Blossom Tales: The Sleeping King. And it's from Limited Run Games, and on the back it looks very cheap. It looks like a very cheap indie game trying to do that retro pixels kind of like look to it. And yeah, it's normally goes on price charting. It's like $135, and it's a Switch game.
Oh,
You
really?
know, yeah, it's a Switch game, and so it's $135 currently right now. And
Mhm.
I'm like, that's for scarcity. That's all it is, because I bet you it's not. I bet you it's not a fun game, or I mean, if it is a fun game, I bet you it's not like a highly sought after game. It's just there's only so many of them, and this is a rare physical copy for
Yeah, that's
scarcity. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
fair enough.
You know, these are the kind of games that people like go and they get graded. You know, they're like, oh, I got my limited run game. Now I get to go grade it and put it in a case and put it on a shelf and never play it. You know,
Yeah, exactly. Um, so
that's like,
I'm actually now getting why he's saying this, because I think the updates didn't take on YouTube. So, all right, yep. Wait. Oh, yep. We should. Yep. We're. I updated the title on YouTube
okay.
because it had last week's title, so now it has this one on it. That's my fault, guys. Um.
Okay.
Oh god. So yeah, the topic of this stream is video game piracy morally justified? Because um we see the video game industry, we see where it's going, and we see a lot of people try to justify it, and I find it to be kind of interesting, like an interesting topic for discussion. And yeah, so Caster, what is your take on it?
My take on it is piracy. Okay, so the question is piracy morally wrong? Okay, so
Or morally justified?
morally justified. So the answer is whatever you want it to be, because you can justify anything, get morally. You know, if you give enough excuses, there's history has shown that a lot of bad things have happened because people justified it. But
I'm not the I'm more of an morals are an objective kind of
yeah,
thing rather than a subjective. But you're making a subjective argument where I'm more of
yeah,
an objective person when it comes to morals.
yeah. So the thing is like, so what I'm saying is like anything can be, justified. And I think that's what a lot of people do is like, so my stance is that is piracy wrong? Yes. But the
Who
thing is,
cares?
I understand why people do it. And my thing is like, for a lot of it, I don't really care. Um,
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, yeah, it's technically illegal. You know, you're breaking the law, but who cares? Um, but Optimus kind of does another little interesting wrinkle on this. I think piracy is okay if you own the game, you can't purchase the game anymore, or it's from a company that doesn't deserve your money. EA, Nintendo, Disney. Yeah, that kind of raises an interesting thing where it's like, it's really easy to justify pirating an EA game, but it's a lot harder to justify pirating an indie game from a small developer.
yeah, well, see, and see, now here's the thing: is I agree with the one thing. You own the game, okay. So actually,
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of times, if you own the game, you're allowed to have like another copy of it, like a you can download the
It's a
ROM or
very
something.
gray area. It is a very gray area.
Very very gray area, but yeah, but that is like usually an acceptable reason why. You can't purchase the game anymore. I can understand that, but the last one is where we get into very muddy waters because anybody can say the company doesn't deserve your money. I mean, a
For
lot of
me, it's
people,
like it's a size thing. Like a
yeah,
company like EA, if I pirate the game, it's not going to affect their bottom line. If I pirate a game where the indie developer is counting their sales in the dozens, yeah, it's going to affect them. Um, or any indie developer where like every sale counts. That's kind of where I personally draw the line. Like, if it's a game,
But here's another question: is what if it is a big developer that's actually a good developer? Is it still justified just because they're big? See, that's what I'm saying. Like you can be like,
that's where it comes.
that's what I'm saying.
That's where it
You
comes
can
to moralism.
see, that's
Like,
why
for
you can.
example, here's my example. So I have Breath of Fire 4. All right, I have the ISO for Breath of Fire 4. I can boot it up in my emulator anytime I want. But GOG recently announced that they're selling Breath of Fire 4 on the GOG store, the preservation program. I went out of my way to purchase that game for $10. I gave them my $10 because I felt so strongly that I want to support that game, support that initiative, because I wanted more Breath of Fire games on the platform. I want to see that series come back so bad. I went out of my way to buy it, and I haven't even touched that game because I have the ISO. I can play it anytime I want. But I deliberately gave them $10 when I had no need to because I felt so strongly about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but like I said, like you see, you have a AAA developer that's really good, right?
Mhm.
And you could be like, well, they're not going to miss it. You can say the same thing with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's kind of all up to like personal feelings. The only thing I'll say is I do sometimes find like the different wrinkles a bit ironic. Like I remember in like the game, like the retro reproduction cart scene where it used to be like, oh, if the game never came out in America, it's all fine to do a reproduction of it with a fan translation. Then I saw people try to float around, oh, here's a reproduction card of Chrono Trigger, but it's retranslated.
Yeah.
And to me, and nowadays, you could just buy reproductions of famous games, and you know what? Game prices have gotten so ridiculous. Some of those repros are starting to look a little bit tempting.
I know, and that's the thing is like for me, I have supported piracy because I've bought bootleg games before. I have most of my Sega CD collection is bootleg games because I like playing the physical game on my system, and they're just bootlegged disc.
Like, I'll tell you what, if somebody was selling a reproduction of Snatcher in like really nice packaging that I could play on a Sega CD, I would pay $50 for that.
Yeah. See, I will definitely just support indie developers like the people who made TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Yeah. But see, here's what I hate and love about that that certain situation is the developers for TMNT Shredder's Revenge, excellent company, but great game. They're still supporting it, which is crazy. Still making DLC for it. They're also one of the developers also was involved with Streets of Rage, which is still getting stuff today too, which is crazy. 4 years later, we're still getting stuff. But like, what I hated about that situation is companies like that will partner up with scummy companies to support their game, like limited run games, and that's what Shredder's Revenge did. So Shredder's Revenge was going to be like a digital release game, and limited run was like, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to make a physical copy of it. This is the only time I've ever bought anything for limited run. So what I thought was very stupid was the fact that they took pre-orders the day the game came out digitally. So, and you had to wait almost 9 months for your physical copy to get there. So
the only thing I think of is from like a developer perspective, it's probably a really easy sale. Limited run comes like, hey, so there are definitely people who are going to want a physical copy. Maybe not enough to do a full run, but hey, we will pay you for the rights to do a physical copy. We will handle everything. We will handle all the costs. We'll even give you a percentage of the sales. You don't have to do jack crap.
Yeah.
It's a very tempting offer from a developer side.
And I know it's a very tempting offer, but but the fact is, like, who suffers? It's because that's the thing is like, the and Limited Run knows what they're doing with it. They're making basically collectibles because they're not. The reason why they're taking pre-orders the day of is because they don't care that you're going to play it. They don't care. They want because if they cared about it, they would have had a physical release, or they would have pre-orders like 6-9 months before before the game even came out, and then you could get your physical game. But like every other place friggin' does. But what they did was they waited, so by the time you got your game, it was, the hype kind of died down a little bit, and also, like, that's all really was it for. It was for the people who just want a physical collector kind of thing. That's
and
really
the worst part is, if you wait long enough, a lot of those games just show up in Best Buy anyway.
They pretty much do. So I just hate when companies, like, when you get like games like that, and they like, for instance, Soul Reaver did the same damn thing. Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered. They did the same damn thing. They had a digital release only, but then they did the physical release with limited run games, and it pissed me off because I was like, I really wanted a physical copy of that game. Let's see here. Says, what about companies that can wrongfully take away your games? Steam took away my entire library of games that I paid for because somebody falsely accused me of fraud.
I feel like that's kind of an entirely different conversation than one we're having. Because that's more of like a games access, like a digital versus physical. I mean, piracy is part of that kind of conversation, but I feel it's kind of a whole different topic. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, it kind of delves into something else, but yeah. It's all good to say. Okay, yeah. It's all good to say, but this did cause a bad joke to pop in my head. Will there be a Screecher game coming soon? You may actually hit me with a hammer on that one.
I've talked about this before. There are currently no plans. I am not opposed to the idea of a Screecher game. I've thought about it, and basically, if I were to do a Screecher game, it would be like a beat 'em up, similar to like Streets of Rage, Shredder's Revenge. I've even thought about like maybe using like Open Beats of Rage engine
you can actually make it like the Batman NES game,
or Batman Return on the Super Nintendo kind of thing.
Yeah. Like a side scroller beat 'em up. Yeah.
The Batman NES game. Yeah, that's a possibility. But yeah, if I were to do Screecher, it would be something like that. But that's a little ways off. But if a game developer wants to come to me a proposal, I am more than happy to hear it.
Yeah. Now, but so my thing is, like, getting back to the topic at hand, it's kind of like, you can justify anything because
Speaking of justification, I would like to welcome our special guest returning to the channel. We have Mugen Lord.
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
Not much. Happy to have you back. I've been looking for a reason to bring you back, and I'm finally glad I found one here. So the topic of this was actually inspired by a thread you were having earlier this week about the piracy debate. So if you could reintroduce yourself to the audience and kind of like give us like a little overview of that thread we were having.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no problem. Yes, of course. My name is Mugen Lord or Brian H. Blackson. I started on YouTube back in 2006, 2007. Started off as a Mugen YouTuber. If you don't know what Mugen is, it's a fighting game engine that allows you to create your own fighting games and everything on the PC. And from there, I pretty much transformed my channel into like all gaming channels, just covering gaming news and everything. And then you fast forward, I started introducing culture war content. And now I pivoted away from that. I also started my own comic book company as well called Venus and Ryan Comics. I launched my first comic book called Varion Keller's Vampire Killers in January. Successful campaign. Now it's available as well on my website at venusandryancomics.com. I had a successful convention at GeekdomCon 2025 last weekend. Sold my comics.
Congrats, brother. Congrats.
At the convention and stuff. So everything is really, really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But as far as the thread is concerned, it was like last week. I had seen this post because there's a lot of controversy going on with the Nintendo Switch. As far as what they're doing with this with the game key cards and everything like that, and there was news saying that pretty much Nintendo was trying to counteract piracy and stuff like that. And when I heard of piracy when I was younger, or when I was first introduced to piracy when I was much younger, it was the fact is that you was able to get access to games that you normally wouldn't have access to, or you was able to get games for free. You wouldn't have to pay for it. I remember when I was in school, like I grew up, my parents got me all the games I wanted. So I never once thought of emulation. I never thought about piracy. I never thought about any of these things because I got whatever game I wanted or whatever like that. But once I got to middle school, it was this one kid, who we all sit at the lunch table, talk about our favorite games and stuff, and he would brag about, I can play Pokemon on my computer, or he would pull out this disc, and he had like a marker with the game written on it and stuff like that. I'm like, what's this all about? And he was explaining how he's able to get games for free. He was able to, pirate games, burn games on disc and stuff like that, and you're able to play them and everything. And I never heard anything like this. So, as I got older, every time I heard anything about piracy, it was more so about, hey, I'm able to get free shit. I'm able to play these games without having to pay for it and stuff like that. And, especially me growing up, and all of us around that age, now none of us are working yet. We don't got jobs yet. We got summer jobs and stuff like that. So, this is the opportunity to be able to play those games. But now you fast forward, now you got social media. I'm on Twitter and everything. I'm hearing a whole different narrative about what piracy, and that is, hey, game preservation. When companies won't allow us to have access to certain games, like Nintendo, for instance, or whatever like that, since their games are not on PC, well, I might as well go pirate it and stuff like that.
The preservation argument is such bung, in my opinion. It is cope.
Yeah. I mean, now, I'm not saying that there's some people who's not doing, who's...
there's entire organizations, Video Game History Foundation or whatever. Yeah. There's people doing great work. But your average Joe Schmo
that's what I'm talking about.
200 gigabytes of ROMs on their computer.
Exactly.
They're not preserving video games. They just want to play Mario on their phone. And I'm not saying they're wrong for that.
Yeah, and this is... Exactly, sorry. And that's the argument. That's the thing I'm saying. I say, I'm not saying you're bad. I'm not saying that you're wrong and stuff. But why are we taking turn to turn piracy and trying to turn into something noble? Like you're doing it because you want to preserve this, or you're doing it because a corporation wouldn't allow me to have access to it. This is why I'm doing it and stuff like that.
I can understand it from a Robin Hood aspect. Like you want to screw over the companies that like, oh, you hate Nintendo, so you pirate their games as a middle finger. Like, okay, fine, that's fair. But in terms like something like, I'm preserving video game. No, you just want to play Mario 3 on your phone.
Yeah, bro. I never heard of this narrative until I got on social media. Because me growing up, piracy was like, hey, I'm able to get free shit. And people bragged about getting free shit. Yeah. This is a new thing to me. That's why I was scratching my head. Game preservation, for
me, the narrative that I grew up with is piracy is a service issue, kind of like what Gabe Newell said, and that is supported by a few things. Like music piracy was really bad in the 2000s, then iTunes introduced, and that like greatly reduced it. Movie piracy was like a really big thing, and then Netflix happened, and for like 10 years, movie piracy went down. I don't have any sources from what I'm about to quote, so this is a trust me bro kind of situation.
Okay.
But like when Netflix was introduced, piracy went down. But then after like everyone wanted their own streaming service, piracy started to go back up again. I don't have a source for this, so I don't have anything to cite. So I could be completely wrong about this. So I'm just being honest. I don't have a source. And the same thing with like Steam, with like video game piracy. When you make something convenient, like Spotify also, we hate like Spotify for as bad as it is doing a thing to curtail. Like you hardly hear people talk about like, oh, I have like, back in 2000s, it's like everybody had at least 10 gigs of music on their hard drive.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Dude.
Nowadays, it's like nobody has like download music on them.
Oh yeah, no, me. I still download me. I still download.
I still too.
Yeah. I can't rely on digital platforms to hold my library and stuff. I gotta download them and everything like that. But
yeah, that's a problem. We're increasingly happening is like, they'll remove stuff from a service or like it's really hard. It's like, oh, I want to watch The Fifth Element. You have to Google who is streaming Fifth Element, and you have to hope that A, somebody's streaming it, and B, it's a company that you already have a subscription for.
Yeah. I remember in the early 2000s, it was LimeWire. Oh man, I loved LimeWire.
Oh.
LimeWire was
early to mid 2000s was crazy. It was Napster,
Yup.
Kazaa, BearShare, LimeWire, and then FrostWire.
I remember when Napster was a thing. When Napster first came out, I had no idea what it was, but I remember it really shook like the music industry.
It
like,
did, yeah,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? And during the time Napster came out, I still didn't even have a PC of my own yet. So, I was always hearing about it, reading in the articles and everything like that. I'm like, what's the big deal about this? What's going on?
I can still remember this. You kind of triggered a core memory. I remember I was taking shop class in 7th grade. This is like 2000, so like the height of Napster.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody noticed the Napster logo on the shop teacher's computer. So the shop teacher on a school computer had Napster on his computer.
Yeah,
and they called him out for it. He's like, I own all those songs. Like, sure. That's how bad it was. The shop teacher had Napster on his school computer.
Yeah, dude. I didn't know how much, like downloading, music digitally and holding on to them was started becoming a big deal at that time. And I remember when I first saw an MP3 player for the first time. I was in 11th grade, and one of my friends walked in. He had this little device, and he had his headphones attached to it. I'm like, what the hell is that? He said, it's called an MP3. I'm like, what the hell is that? He said, yeah,
those things were so cool.
Yeah, he said, I got over 100 songs on here and stuff. I'm looking for a CD, a disc. I'm like, where's the disc? He's like, no, you just download it into this. It was just so weird to me seeing stuff like that,
You want to know how big my first MP3 was? You want to know how large it was in terms of storage?
How large was it?
128 megabytes.
Yeah, yep, that was a thing back then. And then that's when when the first iPod came out, it was like this big. And I remember that too. And then Microsoft had one, or was it Dell? They had the Roon. It was called the Roon, I think it was called.
The Zune.
Zoom.
Actually, I think I have an iPod around here somewhere. I actually know exactly where it is. Let me go grab it real quick.
I can't. Mine's is packed away. I still got mine too. It's packed away.
Yeah, mine's in a drawer over here. I know exactly
Wow.
where it is. That helps.
I feel old. Like when this stuff was first introduced.
Yeah, this isn't like the newest or even the oldest. It's like I think it's like a third. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I had like the fat one. It was like it was like this big and it was fat. Like it was really thick. It was white. Yep, I remember. Yep, I had the white one.
This was like my ex-girlfriend. She left it here, and I guess it's mine now. The thing doesn't even work at some point because like I know like rebuilding iPods are kind of like a big thing now. At some point, I'm just gonna like do all the rebuilding for this.
Yeah,
because these things are actually really nice.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Because I had a couple different ones. The one that I had when I was in the late 2000s, I had a Creative Zen. It had like a radio tuner. I was the audiobooks on it. That thing was really nice. I miss it.
Wow.
But nowadays, people just use, if they listen to music, even pre-recorded, they just use their phone because it's just so much easier.
Yeah, man. Time, man. Like just we was around for the beginning of a lot of this technology, and we fast forward now.
Having music on your PSP, that was a thing.
Oh yeah. I had some. I had the SD card, the memory card, and stuff with music on it. Sometimes watch movies and stuff on the PSP.
Oh gosh, I remember. I was going to church at the time, and one of the kids had it was like an after church kind of like potluck kind of thing, and he was actually like watching some naughty videos on his PSP. Oh gosh, this is taking me back.
Yeah, man. Now we fast forward now, and everything is just digital. And as I said on my channel, I also said on my Twitter, like I was completely wrong. I said that Nintendo would have been. I said if anything, when we go to this all digital era of gaming, I said Nintendo will be the last like company to do it. They're pretty old school. They they do everything, a lot of things physical.
Well, it's the new CEO because like they had that new CEO who's more money.
Yeah, I never thought. I just never thought about that. And I said they'll be the last to do it. I said Microsoft's the first to do it, especially with this Game Pass and everything like that. Then the rumors that the next Xbox is going to have like an Xbox like PC type operating system. It may have Epic Game Store and Steam on it and stuff like that. And I was saying that like Microsoft is trying to secure the future. And I said, do you think Sony's going to follow right behind them? Because this is where we're going, And I said Nintendo will be the last to do this. But when the Switch 2 was announced. And they revealed
Sony is the last bastion of pure gaming, which is something I would never thought I would say.
Dude, I was like, Nintendo just made me a liar because I was like, I said they were always the one trailing behind everybody. He's always the last to catch up. So I thought that was the case. But when the Switch 2
was still catching up in terms of graphics.
Oh yeah. But I was like, like we got game key cards and, like it's like a hybrid between physical and digital, but it's really digital and stuff like that. And then now,
I don't even know why they even bothered to do physical cards because they got like the 64 gigabyte and then that's it.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, this is what they were trying to do because I was doing some research. I'm most likely do a video on it as well. Now, I remember because back during the Switch 1, they gave developers choices as far as cartridges is concerned. You had the
8, 16, 32, 64.
Exactly. You had those. So so developers were able to pick and choose which ones they wanted to put. And then we get the Switch 2, they essentially eliminated that. So now you either got, like the 1 gig or the 2 gig, and then you got the 64 gig. And there's no in between this stuff. So then you have developers saying, okay, fuck it. I'll just go with the game key card. Now, there was another news. They were saying that they did this game key card thing to fight against piracy because people were hacking their Switches and they had this thing where they had to load a bunch of games on a cartridge or something like that.
Because like the early Switches have a soft mod method.
Yeah,
but like unless you have like the original, like the first year or two of Switches.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah,
anything like you can. There's like a method, like a paperclip method you can use to mod it.
Yeah,
but anything beyond that requires a mod chip. So like, it's actually a lot harder to mod a Switch than you would think. Because like most people probably have like the later models.
Yeah. Now they're trying to make it that's why they're doing all this, and then now they're trying to make it even harder because now there's a rumor or something like that saying that. If you tamper with it sends off this voltage or something like that, it'll pretty much brick your Switch 2 or something like that. So like it's to stop you from modding it. I don't know, but man, I never thought that it would be Nintendo to go down this deep end. I thought it would be Microsoft to do it, like go hardcore.
Well, Nintendo's always been like very, very litigious. Like Nintendo Ninjas are
yeah, for sure. But as far as them doing this, as with services like this and what they're trying to do, I was like, wow. I said, damn. I'm like, okay. I said, Nintendo just proved me wrong or whatever. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not really too happy about this all digital era that we are.
You will owe nothing into. And be happy.
Yeah, man. Because I'm not really I don't really game on my PC. My PC is capable of gaming. I guess you would call it a gaming PC or whatever like that, because I can play, a lot of good, games at good settings and stuff. But like I have Steam. I download, I buy games that's on sale, but they just sit there. They are not. I don't ever install.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, really. I don't really play on it at all. I like consoles. I'm not saying that their consoles are superior, but what I'm saying is I just like
they have their place.
They have their place, exactly. They're convenient. And it's something like I love to have that box of that game.
I'm a PC guy myself, but even I can't deny the appeal of consoles.
Yeah. I love to have the box. I love to have it on my shelf. Have a whole library of my games. I love to have the controller to that said console and stuff like that.
Come home from work. Turn on your TV, turn on your console, and you're gaming in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and the thing is, something about gaming on a PC where it just, I don't know, like, because my PC, I edit videos on it, I go on the internet on it, it does everything, and it just doesn't feel the same that I'm playing on a PC that does my everyday life on it and stuff like that. You know, I don't have my physical collection. I can plug any controller in it. It just doesn't feel. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a I guess you would say a console authentic experience for me. That's why
I don't know. For me, I use an Xbox One controller to play with it, and it's like
me too.
And for me, I'm the same way. Like, this is my media center. I browse internet. I do my work on it. But then, like, it's like, okay, I have like an hour to kill. Let me just like lay down on the couch, turn on the controller, and play a game for an hour or whatever. Yeah, I enjoy it, but that's me.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I'm going to eventually, I'm going to have to convert over and be a PC gamer because the way these consoles are going, they're like PCs. Like, especially with the next generation. God only knows what the PS6 is going to be like, what the next Xbox is going to be like. You know, I think they're going to be more akin to PCs. And if that's the case, I might as well just get a PC. I might as well just upgrade my PC even farther and just stick with the PC, especially if. Go ahead.
Yeah. Like, and the thing is, like my laptop Steam Deck combo is exactly what I wanted from the Switch. You know, like the kind of like play your game and then pick it up on your thing. Like, yeah, you can do that. Like, I don't know. It's like everything I always wanted. Because like the Switch is cool, but like it's flat. It's not ergonomic. It's a really big pain in the butt for me to hold for a long period of time. The Switch on its own is really uncomfortable for me to play because it's so flat. Whereas like Steam Deck, like the curve, like it has like a nice ergonomic. It feels really nice in the hand. It's like a lot bigger, you know.
It's too. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing about the Steam Deck. It's too big. Like it's supposed to be portable. That thing is huge. I can't see myself lugging that around. I barely bring my Switch with me. I'm not a handheld guy or whatever.
Switch Lite is nice. I do like the Switch Lite.
Yeah, I got my daughter a Switch Lite, so she has a Switch Lite, but I have the original Switch, and I'm not a handheld guy. Like I grew up.
I've been a handheld guy for most of my life. So
I have the Atari Lynx. I had that. I still have that.
Have you ever compared the Lynx to the Steam Deck? I feel like they'd be comparable.
Oh yeah, it's big and bulky. It's a very bulky handheld device or whatever like that. But it was something about those games, man. I loved those games on the Lynx when I was younger. And I had the Sega Game Gear. Then I have the Game Boy Color.
The Game Gear is deceptively comfortable, I will say.
Yeah. I love the Game Gear. That was my handheld console of that time and stuff. But I kind of started straying away from handhelds and stuff. I mean, I just love console gaming. But when
my favorite handheld is a PSP.
Nah, I ain't like PSP.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because the thing was, when they announced that it was coming out in hand, because I always wanted Sony to come out with a handheld, I thought I was going to get that PlayStation 1 experience, but in my hand and carry it around. But a lot of those PSP games was not appealing to me at all. And when I did play my PSP, guess what I did? I support PlayStation 1 classics, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, Xenogears. I was playing PS1 games on it because a lot of the PSP games weren't appealing to me. They felt more like I don't want to say cheap versions. They didn't feel like how a PlayStation game is. They just like smaller bite-sized versions, and it just wasn't fun. I didn't like.
Yeah, I think this is where like the fact that like I was a handheld gamer mostly growing because I was actually used to that. Like I was used to the idea of I had a Game Boy, I had a brick Game Boy, then a Game Boy Color, then Game Boy Advance. Like I'm used to like the whole like, oh, you're not getting the full experience, you're getting a console experience. So the PSP was actually a lot closer to like the console experience than what we got before. That was kind of the big deal. Like, go back to the GBA and like you're playing like Lord of the Rings: Return of the King on PlayStation 2. It's like all the 3D graphics, and you played on the GBA. It's like a Diablo clone. Not a bad game, mind you, just different. Or Tony Hawk's you played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on your PlayStation 2, and then you go play it on Game Boy Color, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, man. Like my PSP collected dust. The only time I played my PSP was to play PS1 classics, and when they came out with like PSP versions of PS1 games, like Final Fantasy Tactics, I bought that, played the hell out of that. And what was the Valkyrie Profile? That was a PS1 game. They made a PSP version of it, edition of it.
They did one for Breathfire 3 that was only available in the UK.
Yeah, and Star Ocean Second Story, PSP version came over.
Oh, Star Ocean First Departure was That was the first time it was available in America.
Yeah. I didn't. My brother picked that one up. I got the second story, and those were the only times. And I guess the only 2 PSP games, 3 PSP games. There were 4. There was only 4 PSP games that I enjoyed. Was Ease 7. That was really E7 was really good. Also Joan Dark. That was a tactics
Jane
game.
d'Arc, that's
Jane d'Arc, I bought that, and it was a tactics game. I actually enjoyed the hell out of it. I played the hell out of that. And then what was the Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core? Didn't really like the game, but I'm a Final Fantasy 7 fan, so I played it. Or whatever like that. It was another game that I'm missing that and the CD of Final Fantasy. I put countless of hours in that, but the only thing
that's a really good one.
Yeah, it wasn't. That was another problem that I also had. I had a PSP. My brother had a PSP. My dad had a PSP. Well, both my brothers had a PSP. But most of the time, I didn't know anybody who had PSPs. Like going out in public, everybody had a Game Boy, like a GBA,
or DS,
or DS at the time and stuff like that. But no one had a PSP that I knew. Like you go outside just doing your daily thing, and I will see people with Nintendo devices, but I've never seen anybody with a PSP. So the thing
for
about
me, it was like for every 10 people, you might see like 2 or 3 people with a PSP in my area.
Right.
Most of them had DSs.
Yeah, man. I had a DS too. Like, because the thing that made me get a DS was because they announced that Mario 64 was coming to DS. Like, wait a minute. So we get
that was a big
we
deal.
getting a console experience on a handheld, which is Mario 64, my favorite 3D platformer of all time. And I'm like, what? So I got a DS based just off of that alone, off of because I like, if we getting that, then we gotta be getting other 64 games that's coming to the DS.
It's kind of like me when I found out that Ocarina of Time was coming to the 3DS.
Oh yeah, bro. That's man. And I got a 3DS because of they announced Street Fighter 4 and everything. I had
that was a launch title, I believe.
Yeah, it was a launch title. Yeah, I actually did an unboxing video, a launch of the 3DS on my channel. I still got that video too, man. Me unboxing the 3DS and Street Fighter 4.
I think the 3DS actually had a bunch of like decent fighting games, if I remember.
Yeah. They did.
Dead or Alive.
I got that. I got Dead or Alive Dimensions. I got that too. Really solid. That 3DS was impressive, and what they was able to do with that, especially with Dead or Alive. I was taken aback by that, what that handheld was capable of doing, especially with Dead or Alive. It was pretty impressive.
Dead or Alive is a series that always kind of punches above his weight. Like, I'm amazed if you look at Dead or Alive 2 on the Dreamcast.
Oh yeah,
it looks pretty comparable to like the other versions.
Yeah, I got it on the Dreamcast. That was my first entry into Dead or Alive on the Dreamcast. Loved every bit of it. And another thing, the other game that I played the most on my 3DS was Smash Brothers 3DS. Like I put hundreds of hours in that. Because like I said,
and the best part about Smash Brothers, I think it came out like 6 months before the Wii U.
Yeah. I got both. I was waiting. First I said I'm not gonna get the 3DS version. I'm gonna just wait to get the Wii U version. But I love Smash Brothers, so I ended up folding. Now this is what my friend did. I was in college at the time. I had the original. I like my launch 3DS. It was the black one I had gotten, and I don't know why, but my friend Chris, he came to my dorm room. And this is what I said. We was watching the Nintendo Direct where they was still revealing characters for Smash Brothers Wii U in the 3DS. So I'm sitting there. I said, man, like, I don't know, man. I'm not going to get the 3DS version, man. Like, especially on that small little screen that the original 3DS had and stuff. I said, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it that much and stuff. I said, the only way I will get the Smash for 3DS is if I get the 3DS XL. But I don't think I want to spend, $100 over.
The 3D XL feels so nice.
Yeah. Now check this out. So Chris, we was watching the Direct. My buddy Chris said, he said, yeah, I have the 3DS XL. I said, oh, you do? He said, yeah. He pulled it out of his bag. It was the Mario and Luigi edition. It was a silver one. Ooh. And he was like, I just bought it or whatever like that. So he said, yeah, I really want to get Smash Brothers myself. So he said, dude, you should get Smash Brothers as well. I said, dude, my 3DS, I got the original one at launch. I said, this thing is so damn small. It'll be too uncomfortable to play that. And he said, bro, how about this? I'll trade you. I'll give you my XL and I'll get you and give me your small and give me your original one. I was like, what? I said, dude, like that is a limited edition Mario and Luigi, and it's the XL. Like, it's a nice screen, a nice big screen and everything. You just got it, and you want my old ass launch 3DS. He said, well, I like the small one, and this is during the time they was discontinuing this.
Little did you know yours was an ambassador 3DS, and that's why you wanted it.
I didn't think about that, but I'm like, sure, whatever. And I got the XL and everything, transferred our data and stuff like that. And I was like, okay. So that's what made me end up getting Smash Brothers for 3DS. But I ended up playing it a bit more because it was a bit bigger, the screen and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I bought Project Cross Zone 2 for it as well. And I got Tales of the Abyss because I never got just to get Tales of the Abyss.
Oh, I had that one on 3DS. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, I never got a chance to finish. I never got a chance to finish it. I need to go finish it, but I won't wait because they might be remastering that. Because not Bond and Namco talking about they want to remaster more of their other ones, and the Abyss is on their eyes as well. So but yeah, man, the 3DS I did spend more time with, and I would say my Game Boy Advance SP. I put like 100 hours when with Lunar came out. Lunar Remake came out for the Game Boy Advance, and I had the SP, the one that flaps, you open it up and stuff. Yeah.
I had for the longest time an AGS 101 SP, and I gotta say,
bro, and this is the first time where you was able to start charging your your handheld and stuff. Because when I got the SP, I said, "Where's the batteries at?" And I opened the box. It came with a charger. I'm like, wait a minute, so no more batteries. I can just plug it into the adapter into the wall and just plug in and charge. I'm like, what that? I said, yo, I was amazed by it. I'm like, damn.
So, Caster, I gotta ask you. I'm sorry, we've kind of been dominating.
Good.
What is your favorite handheld? Then we'll get back to the piracy thing.
See, what is my favorite handheld? I don't know. I guess I could say my favorite handheld is probably the. I guess I could just go with the Game Gear.
Yeah, I love the Game Gear.
Yeah, he actually mods Caster mods consoles. He sent me a modded Game Gear. It's really freaking sweet. It's got a rechargeable battery in it. It's got a new screen in it. It is freaking sweet.
Oh, awesome. The first time I ever, I guess you would say mod, I guess you call it mod, was because it was during the time that Nintendo had announced Tatsunoko versus Capcom, and they said it wasn't coming to the States. And I really wanted to play that game so bad. So I bought the Japanese version, but I didn't have a Japanese Wii or whatever. So we found out that there's this thing called the Twilight mod, where you able to you need the Twilight Princess disc for the Wii in order for you to hack your Wii and stuff like that to be able to play imported games or whatever. So my cousin came over and he showed me the process. So I guess I was able to mod my Wii. And now I was able to play Japanese games. So that's the first thing I did. Once that happened, I had Tatsunoko versus Capcom, the Japanese version, and I was able to play that. And man, I was fiending for that just for them to announce 6 months later that because of demand.
You went to all that trouble.
I went through all that trouble, man. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? And because of that, also too, I got into Project M. For Super Smash Brothers Brawl, you was able to mod that, so you was able to put in your own characters, stages, levels, and stuff.
Project M, yeah.
I
think that's discontinued now. I think they've discontinued.
Yeah. Because the company, the people that did it, they went indie and made their own type of Smash game. Yeah. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
See, like that's the thing. When a company won't do something, the fandom always kind of rises to fill the gap. You know, because like Project M, it was resulted because of Brawl. Brawl wasn't what a lot of fans wanted, so like they basically used Project M to turn Brawl into more of a melee kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I like this is my problem too. Like, this is why I don't really get much into like mods much, because I get so spoiled by them and whatever, and they're not really the authentic version of that game. Like especially when it came to Project M, like I played the hell out of it. I love the gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, but that would never ever be like the legit version of the Smash experience. So I'm putting all this time into a game that's just a fan game. It's not a licensed game.
What's interesting is sometimes fan games do influence the franchise. Are you familiar with Street Fighter Rainbow Edition?
Yeah, I do. It's funny that you mentioned that because I watched was it Top Hat Gaming? It was one of them that
I've watched that exact video.
Yeah. It's funny. I just got finished seeing that, and that was influenced. Street Fighter, the Rainbow.
If without Rainbow, we would not have had Turbo.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you're right about that. I didn't think about that, but if they pay attention, developers pay attention to that, and they look hard enough and pay attention to it, they will, borrow and take things from that. And you're right about that.
Because like for those who aren't aware, Rainbow Edition was a hacked version of Street Fighter that was like active in like the early 90s during the height. And the biggest thing about Rainbow Edition is it sped up the gameplay like really fast. It did a lot of other things.
It was janky. Yeah, it was really janky.
But the big thing was it sped up the gameplay.
Yeah.
And so what Capcom did is their next version they did Turbo, which I'm sorry, you can deny it. They can deny it all they want. It's very clear. Turbo, they saw Rainbow Edition.
Yeah. Just having Turbo name in it alone.
I would like to think that they saw Nintendo saw Project M, and they're like, okay, and so when they did Smash 4, they brought it kind of closer to Melee. I would like to think that.
Yeah, I would like to think that too. When it came to Smash Bros. Wii U, I didn't really play that one as long as the other ones. Like, I don't know. It felt like I played the 3DS more than I played the Wii U version. I think I was
the thing is, with the Wii U version just became Ultimate, and the problem is like I really feel like Smash 4 was kind of just like a flash in the pan kind of thing, because like the Wii U was doing terrible. The height was when Smash 4 came out. You had like the 8-player Smash.
Yeah.
But like everyone was playing it for like 3 months, and then everyone just like shoved their Wii U's back in the corner again.
Yeah. I didn't play that one for too long, and that was kind of it was like people may not like Brawl, but I enjoyed Brawl because I'm not like I play sometimes I play competitively. I used to go to my locals in Philadelphia and play Smash and stuff. But Smash first and foremost was always a party game to me. That I always enjoyed the single player, the other features besides competing and stuff. I always enjoyed, and I thought that Brawl was that ultimate experience because that Subspace Emissary. I used to run that game, run that mode time and time again. It was like the ultimate fan
Final
service.
Destination, no items.
yeah. Subspace Emissary on Brawl was that was the ultimate fan service. Seeing your favorite Nintendo characters, like interacting with each other in a cinematic type of, a story mode and everything. And I will always play that over and over again.
I'm still kind of mad we haven't had a proper crossover game between Mario and Sonic. Like, I want to see...
Bro, I agree. Because I remember when we first saw Sonic and Mario on the same screen together, I got hyped. But when I found out, I was like, oh, damn, it's an Olympic game. I said, this is what
I do appreciate the message of, like, oh, they're the only reason they're uniting is for the Olympics. I like the message. I like what they're trying to say about it. I appreciate that. But can we just please have a crossover game? Like, it's been like they're friends now. Like,
yeah, I would love to see that. I think that would make a crap ton of money. And you know that Nintendo's going to have.
I just want to see Bowser and Eggman interact. It would be so funny.
That would have been so. And I never bought any of the Olympic titles. Like, no. So. But yeah, man, like
imagine like an intelligent systems or level like intelligent systems, like a Mario and Luigi style game with Mario and Sonic. Seriously, man, that's just Prince money right there.
Yeah, dude. Like I don't know why they hesitating with that. I always thought that's a missed opportunity doing a crossover that. I mean, that's a legacy. That's a crossover that the history books of gaming would forge and write. And it'll survive the test of time if they did something like that. I don't know why they wouldn't and everything. And the closest we got to just seeing them in the game together, it's pretty much Super Smash Brothers.
I just want to see like Peach and Rogue Rouge the Bad have a conversation. That would just
Bro,
be
dude. It's like we for some strange reason we got Mario crossing over with the rabbits, which is stupid. I hate them damn things.
Or just imagine this: they're doing a fight, and Amy Rose and Peach swap weapons. So you got Peach using the Pico hammer, and Rose using Peach's umbrella.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
It's hype. Caster, what do you think about this crossover idea?
Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Keep Mario separate and keep Sonic separate. It's not a Reese's peanut butter cup. Everything goes together.
We have a dissenting opinion here. We don't allow those.
I mean, it's like eating a bag full of candy and then throwing it up.
What? I only have one response for that.
What? Yeah, man. But
gosh. But yeah, like, so I don't care if people play her. I don't care. But like, it's just the pretzels that people twist them to and to justify it. I find to be like silly. I find it to be
like I said, it is what it is. You want free shit or you stealing shit? Like it is what it is. Like, why are we trying to put a nice little message, or why you're taking shit? That's all you're doing. You just
no one cares. Like, literally nobody cares. You don't need to try and say you're morally correct for doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing that annoys me about it. Like I said, I never heard of that.
People who do it as like an FU to the company, that's fine. I get that. I get that. Like, screw you, Nintendo. I'm gonna pirate your games as like a middle finger. Like, okay, fine, fair enough. Like that one I understand, but like, oh, I am this grand crusader trying to preserve video games. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah, dude. Like that. Like I said, that narrative is completely new to me. Until I never heard of it until I got on social media. Because my whole life, people wanted free stuff, right? Like, and bragged about their collection of games that they pirated. Like, and like I said before, I said in my thread, I even had people say, close friends would say, bro, like, why are you going to buy it? I can just get it for you. I can just pirate it for you and stuff. I'm like, no, man. Like, I used to go to my friend's house and he used to have a bunch of discs with the name of the games on it. I don't want that. I want that legitimate box with the game and everything. Like,
I mean, for me, like, I don't have much money, so I can't really afford all these games. So it's like, for some of it, it's just like I can't afford.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the price of retro games has gotten so freaking ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm not paying $200 for a Pokemon Red and Blue card. I am no fucking way.
Yeah. I'm like, one, I don't sell my games. I don't trade my games in. So I never really had a need to go look for retro game hunting, because I built up when I moved to my new house, when we moved there, I'm gonna do a whole video just unboxing my storage box I have like hundreds of PS1 games, like hundreds.
I did it a lot in the 2010s, kind of like the golden age of retro hunting. Like rod sales, flea markets, or whatever. It was a lot of fun. Probably my greatest find was I was at a Salvation Army, and I was leaving, and I did like one check of their DVDs, and there was Animal Crossing for the GameCube there. I was like,
my sister got that for her GameCube.
Yeah, so I went like, okay, fine, I'll go check the disc, whatever. I open it, and the Animal Crossing disc fell out, and inside the case was Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Oh wow!
I very quietly put the game back in, bought the game for $3, okay, and then I went straight to my local retro game card shop place, like my local hangout. I sold and I bought this for $3, and I sold Animal Crossing for $4 and kept the Super Smash Brothers disc.
Yeah.
Mind you, just the disc of Melee at the time was going for $50.
Oh wow! Yeah, I still got my.
So
Melee
I got
disc.
Melee for like positive $4.
Oh wow! Yeah, man. Like,
I made $1 profit and I got Melee for free. Like that is probably
wow.
my greatest yeah.
Yeah. I still got I have a massive GameCube collection. Like this is stuff that I bought like throughout the life of the GameCube and stuff like that. My parents bought me and stuff. So I got a whole collection of games. I got games on the 3DO. I got games on the Jaguar. I got the Turbo Graphics. I love the Turbo Graphics. I got the multi-tap. I got like 6 controllers for it and everything. So I'm doing a whole unboxing showing
I always call like the TurboGrafx the hipster game system.
I love that system. I love it.
That was for me. I found it kind of funny because like I don't know if you know, like I watched a lot of like I watched a lot of like the retro game YouTubing of the 2010s. I just kind of noticed like this kind of shift in like the late 2010s of a lot of people started getting into TurboGrafx. It's like, oh, everyone's talked about the Genesis and Super Nintendo. What else is there to talk about?
Great console. To talk about this. It was a great console, man. It was a really, really good console, especially Dungeon Explorers. That was like a 5-player, I guess you would say like Diablo or Gauntlet or whatever like that. I used to play with my siblings and with my dad and everything. And Bonk. It was a wrestling game that I got too. That was like a 5-player wrestling game. It was like a Royal Rumble type game. I had at least like 20 to 30 games for my TurboGrafx and stuff. So I'm gonna bring that out of storage when I get a chance to and do a video.
Do you have Magical Chase?
Yeah, I have a good. I gotta remember. I got 30 games. I got like at least 20 to 30.
Yeah, Magical Chase. Games. I know is like the holy grail of 2016.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't have was I don't have the disc player that they had. That was the add-on
the Turbo
disc.
CD.
Yeah, I never had that though. That's the only thing I didn't have.
The only thing I know the Turbo CD for is Rondo Blood.
Yeah, Castlevania Rondo Blood. Yeah,
that was a Japanese game, but it's not that hard to play it on American systems.
Yeah. And the thing is, like I said before about the TurboGrafx, man, that was an underappreciated console. It was really, really good. It was a fun console. And I like I said before, when I didn't have it in stores, I would boot it up every chance I got to go back and play those games and stuff, man. And it was awesome. The 3DO, man, that console was horrible, man.
I don't know. I've met some 3DO fanboys. Like
it wasn't a good console. It had potential, because it was like I said, it was a disc based. I think it was 32 bits, and I remember when I got the 3DO, it came with a demo disc to show you what it's capable of, and it had an episode of Batman the Animated Series. Usually, it had the Mr. Freeze episode when he first introduced Mr. Freeze, and I was like, when we sitting in the game room with my mom and my dad and all of us, we was just amazed that this is a game console and it's able to actually play like cartoons and movies and stuff. I said, this is amazing. This is before the PS2 able to play DVD players. This thing is actually playing movies and stuff.
What's really funny is, you know what a VCD is, right?
Yeah.
What's funny is consoles like the PlayStation, the Saturn, the Dreamcast can play VCDs. In fact, I think even in Japan they released a card to actually make the VCDs look better.
Oh wow.
And they were releasing VCDs up until like the early 2010s. Like you can get Man of Steel on VCD, you can get Avengers. I have a couple VCDs. Like I have a Kamen Rider movie, and then I have like a John Cusack movie. A buddy of mine found him at like a Goodwill, and he sent them to me. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. And the 3DO. The only thing that we really played on the 3DOs when they started releasing like Super Street Fighter, Samurai Showdown, and then they had this adapter where you was able to plug your Super Nintendo controller into it. So we was mostly using the Super Nintendo controller. And we was only playing like Super Nintendo games like on the 3DO because most of the 3DO games was trash. they weren't good or whatever like that. I think Demolition Man was pretty fun. They had Demolition Man. I got that on there, and it was like a board game, like a trivia game, that me and my parents and my siblings, we all used to play together and stuff. But the 3DO, it wasn't really that good, and then the Jaguar was complete trash. The Atari Jaguar was
had like one good game, Alien
versus Predator and Doom. I had those two games I played the most, Doom and Alien versus Predator. I got Doom, I got Alien versus Predator. I got Iron. It was called Iron Soldier. I got that stupid game that came with the 3DO. It got the chick.
The first version of Rayman was on the Jaguar.
Oh
and
yeah,
the first
yeah.
version of Gex was on the 3DO.
Yeah, yeah. But that controller was trash on the Jaguar. But it was only two games. It was only two games that was worth it, and that was just only Doom and Alien vs Predator, and I got them both. But other than that, that was a stupid console, worst console I've ever played. Trash, and I still got the console too.
Where did you learn to fly?
Yeah, that game. That game that came with the Jaguar. That game was stupid. Yeah, that game was stupid.
There are things like Way of the Warrior, where like the Scottish guy, he like lifts up his kilt and farts.
I didn't even bother to play. I didn't even buy that game. My dad didn't even buy it either. Like it was just a horrible console. I have the Sega Saturn, but this is the crazy thing. By the time we bought the Sega Saturn was pretty much dead in the States. Like
all the games were like $10-$20.
Yeah, so my dad went there and bought the whole shelf that was available that was left. And yeah, that's what he did. And he came.
He probably paid like $200 for everything.
That was the same thing. That was the same thing with the Virtual Boy. When I graduated from 4th grade, the Virtual Boy died. So my mom and dad, because I wanted the Virtual Boy so bad, because I remember it had the kiosk at Toys R Us, and I wanted it so bad. So when I graduated, my parents went to Toys R Us, and they was trying to get rid of the Virtual Boys. So it was only $30. The Virtual Boy was $30, and then my mom and dad bought the whole rack of what was available of the
all 5 games.
Yeah, of the Virtual Boy. And I enjoyed it. My favorite game was Wario Land and look. It was Wario Land. Mario Tennis was the first title before that got Mario Tennis popular. It was Mario Tennis. I had Wario Land. I had Teleboxers. I had the virtual pinball. My dad played the hell out of that. My dad.
I feel like the Virtual Boy, if it had come out like even like 2 or 3 years later, where like the tech had just gotten like 25% better, it might have actually worked. The problem was, and maybe instead of using like the red, then maybe they just use blue. But then again, blue was like a really hard LED.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I gotta step away for a moment.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I'll still be able to hear you.
Gotcha.
And then Caster, please respond to him.
Yeah. So the red, I didn't mind the red because I was a kid, so I just wanted to play the damn Virtual Boy. And I remember the thing I didn't really like most about the Virtual Boy, there was never a comfortable way to play it. Of course, you had it on the stand and everything, but if you didn't have the height or you didn't have the right elevation, your neck ends up hurting trying to position yourself to look into the damn thing or whatever like that. And yeah, you can't keep your eyes in there for too long. Your eyes start hurting and shit like that. But I was a kid, graduated out of 4th grade. That was about 4th grade graduation present and stuff like that. And I remember, like, my parents, after I graduated, my parents took me to the buffet with my brothers and my family and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking about the Virtual Boy. So I can't wait to go home. I can't wait to run home and get home and play it. As soon as I came home, my parents already had it sitting in the living room. I opened it up, and I popped in Wario Land. Wario Land was actually a good game on the Virtual Boy. And it took advantage of the foreground and the background gameplay mechanics. And it had good platforming, great puzzles and stuff. And then when you jump on the platform, it'll take you into the background. And it felt so realistic. It felt like he was in there. And you see Wario and run in the background. You could jump back into the.
I wonder if everyone's ever gotten Doom to run on the Virtual Boy. Like, I feel like that would be an interesting port.
That would be interesting. It was so much potential there. The Virtual Boy, but it just didn't land. But I still own it, still have it, and cherish it. But I would say that my favorite, I'll still say to this day, my favorite console of all time always will be the Sega Dreamcast. I was in love with my Dreamcast, man. I love.
Oh God, I love my Dreamcast. I got it in the 2010s, like $10 at an estate sale. I don't have it anymore, but I miss it. That system, like people dog on the controller, but like I think I love the controller.
I love the controller, dude. Like the Dreamcast.
Unreal Tournament was really fun on that system.
I didn't have Unreal Tournament. I had Quake 3 Arena. I had that.
Had Quake 3 Arena. I didn't like Quake 3 Arena. The reason I like Unreal Tournament is because they mapped the shooting to the left trigger, and Also, the other problem is you could play it with like one joystick. It kind of had like a Metroid Prime feel to it. Whereas Quake they tried to do like a second stick and it didn't really work for me.
Because I had Unreal Tournament for the PS2. That was a launch title on the PS2. But the Dreamcast was like, I got that on launch. Like my parents, like my dad had got a Dreamcast, I got a Dreamcast. And I would say this. If Sega would have waited one and would have released the Dreamcast the same year as the PS2, I think Sega probably would have still been here because they would have seen the competition. Because what killed the Dreamcast because it didn't have a DVD player. I think
DVD player and lack of RAM. It had 16 megabytes. It needed at least 32.
Yeah, but this is the thing. A lot of their games were so much better on the Dream. Like when they had ports. And like the port version of the PS2 was just garbage. The Dreamcast ran better and everything.
Yeah, that's because like from a video processing standpoint, the Dreamcast was on par, if not like it did some things better than the PS2. Like just from a video processing standpoint.
Yeah. The Dreamcast like the Dreamcast had a strong launch library. Like the PS2 library was trash. Launch was trash. The Dreamcast,
I mean, let's be honest, the PS2 was a DVD player until GTA3 came out.
Dude. I'm about to get to that. I'm glad you mentioned that because when Dreamcast came out, this was my Christmas on Dreamcast when the Dreamcast launched. This was my Christmas. I had Sonic Adventure 1, I had Power Stone, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, I had Ready to Rumble, I had Blue Stinger, I had an extra Dreamcast controller, I had a VMU memory card, and I had a Dreamcast arcade stick. That was my ultimate Christmas. Like I was a happy camper. My parents bought me that, and it was like I still reminisce that Christmas to this very day. Like all my Christmas was awesome, but nothing can still top whatever topped the Dreamcast Christmas. And I had Soul Calibur as well. I had Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur is like one of my favorite games of all time.
I had Soul Calibur, and man, I loved every bit of the Dreamcast. It had some unique games. I had Choo Choo Rocket when that came out.
Time Stalkers.
Time Stalker. The RPG Time Stalker. I'm thinking about Time Splitters, but yeah, I had Time Stalkers. That game was hard. That was like a Souls game. It was like a Souls game RPG.
It's like a dungeon crawler. It's got some Pokemon elements to it,
bro. You start at level 1. You start at level 1 every time you enter a dungeon, and if you die, you had to start all over again. Dude, that game was
roguelike. Yeah.
It was roguelike.
Really good, but hard. Yeah,
it was really good. Never beat that game. I still got that game. Like I said, what was it? The game called Egg Elemental Gimmick Gear. I had that. Dead or Alive 2. What was another game? Fur Fighters. I had Vigilante 8. Project Justice. Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure 1, of course, I just mentioned.
Plus, the other thing is like you had some PS1 ports. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and 1 and 2 looked amazing on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, and
they had I remember I was playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and like the oil had like this kind of reflection effect to it. It looked really good.
And all the games ran mostly at 60 frames per second too. And I had Resident Evil Code Veronica. I had that. What was it? It was another game that Plasma Sword. I have. Man,
did you ever mess around with Bleamcast?
Now the Bleem, what I remember, they had the ban this thing called Bleem. You used allowed to play PS1 games.
On
your
they
Dreamcast.
Released 3 discs for Bleamcast, where they each work with a specific game. They released one for Metal Gear Solid, Gran Turismo 2, and Tekken 3. So what it worked is you put the Bleamcast disc in, and then that spinned up, and then you swapped it with the PlayStation disc, like Metal Gear Solid or whatever, and then you could play it on your Dreamcast, and it would actually like up-res it. Like if you played like I remember it made GTA 2 look very close to Gran Turismo 3.
Yeah, bro.
And
the Dreamcast was just awesome. It was a hell of a console, man. And it was one hell of a note for Sega to go out on with the Dreamcast. Will always remember that. And I had Power Stone. That's what I forgot. I had Power Stone 1 and 2 as well. I had Power Stone. I did mention Power Stone on Christmas. Yeah, I had Power Stone as well. And I had Power Stone 2.
I played the hell out of those damn games, man. I played the hell out of all my games on Dreamcast. Loved it. And yep, I remember. Yeah, I remember the Bleem. And I remember it was very controversial. It was
very like Sony sued the shit out of them
yeah.
and lost. Look how smoother the graphics are. It almost looks like a PS2 game.
Yeah, I remember it was. I remember Game Informer magazine talked about the Bleem and stuff like that as well. Oh man,
The big thing is they like I think they did a little anti-aliasing pass. They smoothed out all the jagged edges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looks pretty good for
yeah, man. But that PS2 launch, man, that was garbage. Like I found myself still playing. I was mostly playing PS1 games. PS2 games were taking so long to come out. Like because when my PS2, what I got for my PS2 on launch was Dynasty Warriors 2, Time Splitters, Orphan, Dead or Alive. Was it Dead or Alive Champion? It was called Dead or Alive something. It was but I didn't like it too much.
All right, here are the launch titles for PS2.
Yep.
Midnight Club. That's not a bad game. Let's see. SSX.
Yep. I didn't really like that too much. I had Street Fighter EX3. I had Tekken Tag Tournament.
That was a good
one. But yeah, they weren't.
So, Caster, did you get a PS2 at launch?
No, I didn't get it. I didn't get one at launch. I got it when it had its first major markdown.
Yeah, like dude,
Time Splitters. You gotta give respect to Time Splitters.
Yeah, I had that at launch too. I had that as a launch title.
Smuggler's Run. Some decent titles, but like nothing like earth shattering.
Yeah, nothing earth shattering. Like, dude, like I found myself going back to PS1 games because during that time Final Fantasy 9 came out. So I went back, I was playing Final Fantasy 9 on my PS2. I was still playing PS1 games on my PS2 because games were taking forever to come out. And then that's when the Bouncer came out. I bought the Bouncer and I played that for quite a bit until after the Bouncer. I think Final Fantasy 10, it was what took off, what made PlayStation 2 take off was once Final Fantasy 10 and Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. Once those two games came out, once Final Fantasy 10 and Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, that's when PS2 started taking off. But before then, PS2 was like, it was not, that console was not good at first starting. So off.
The PS2 launched March 4th in 2000. It wasn't until November 13th the next year that they got Metal Gear Solid 2, which was kind of like
I forgot, Metal Gear Solid 2. Yep. That's
GTA 3.
And what was the release date on GTA 3 and Final Fantasy 10? Because I bought them both on launch. I just can't remember the year. But that's when I knew when PS2 really started to take off. Is when 10.
I think it was after October 22nd, 2011. And then Final Fantasy 10 release date. July 19th. So there was like a full year. It took a full year till it started to get its good games.
Yeah. It was a very slow start for the PS2. I did not like the PS2 when it first started. It was just sitting there, and I was going back playing.
So released March 4th of 2000. It wasn't until the summer of 2001 that it started to get its good games.
Yeah, and by this time the PS2 took off, I was already on. I was investing in my GameCube. I was playing a lot of my GameCube because Melee was on its way coming out. I was waiting for Pikmin, and then Pikmin was coming. And GameCube, the reason why GameCube is at the Dreamcast, and I would say GameCube because GameCube resonate with me a lot is because that was my first console that I ever purchased with my own money. Because I was able to I had a summer job, and I saved money throughout my summer job, and save for the GameCube. And my dad was like, son, all you gotta do is get half, and I'll meet you halfway. Because my dad's, teaching me responsibility, and stuff like that, and everything. But my dad didn't have to meet me halfway because I saved up a good amount. And when it was time to go, and this is what they got us with the GameCube and the Xbox. Because my dad, he went to get because the GameCube and the Xbox launched the same month. the first Xbox.
Like within a week of each other.
Yeah, it was within this. I think it was a Friday for the Xbox and then a Sunday for the GameCube, because Nintendo normally would release their consoles, like their launches were like on like a Sunday or something like that at that time. And I remember that Friday we did the overnight release of the Xbox. So I went with Dad, me and my brother Keo went with Dad to go get his Xbox, and then Dad drove us up to Electronic Boutique at the Philadelphia at the Franklin Mills Mall, because they don't do overnights. Nintendo didn't do overnights, so they do early in the morning. Like it will open up like 7 o'clock in the morning. The Electronic Boutique and stuff. So we go up there to get the GameCube, and what was surprising to me is when I got up there to go pre-order my GameCube at the time, and my dad would go pre-order his Xbox. You had to pre-order the GameCube in a bundle. You couldn't just get the GameCube. And I was like really pissed. I was really pissed, but I didn't
remember when they tried to do that with the Switch too, and some people got busted for it.
Yeah, and they did the same thing with the Xbox, the first Xbox too. So I said, "What do you mean I can't just pre-order? You have to get 3 games. You have to get 3 games, a memory card, and you have to get an extra controller." I said, "Are you serious?" Yeah. But I luckily, like, I really bust my ass that summer, and I was able to afford it because my dad was like, "No, son, I'll put half." Like, no, Dad, I got it. Because I really wanted to buy this, but my dad was so proud of me because I saved up so much money, and I still had money left over. So yeah, I had bought I had to get a third party GameCube controller. I had to get a memory card. I had to pick.
Thankfully, the GameCube launch lineup was pretty good.
Yeah. I had got the 3 games that I got for my bundle for the GameCube was Luigi Mansion, Super Monkey Ball, and Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Leader.
Rogue Leader. And because I was thinking, because at first Melee was supposed to be a launch title. When I got there, it said no, it's been delayed until the holidays. So are you serious? What about Pikmin? Well, that's delayed to the holidays too. I was like, are you serious? So I was like, all right, let me just get these 3. I was gonna get Luigi Mansion anyway, but I was like, all right, the other 2 games would be Monkey Ball and Rogue Leader. Star Wars Rogue Leader. So I remember.
Oh, wow, the GameCube launched with Crazy Taxi in the US. That's crazy.
Yeah. So.
Oh God, what did I just do?
So when I got home, when I picked up, my dad took me to get my GameCube. I came home, and I was quite surprised that because I wasn't really expecting anything from Monkey Ball. I was like, I got it because I had to get 3 games. So when I went to play Monkey Ball, I said, "Yo, this game is addictive as hell. This game is actually fun." I enjoyed that, and the thing is, I'm not really. I like Star Wars, but I'm not a super mega Star Wars fan. So Rogue Leader was something that was another game. I was like, I don't like Star Wars. I don't a Star Wars game, but I ended up playing Rogue Leader, and I'm like, yo, this game is actually really fun. So those 2 games really caught me by surprise, and of course, Luigi Mansion played the hell out of that, but. Man, I was just like, yo, I can't wait to Melee drop, and I can't wait to Pikmin drop. That was the main 2 games I was waiting for the holidays.
I believe Melee is actually the highest selling GameCube game.
Yeah, I believe so. It makes sense. And it was and what I liked about the GameCube, it was such a major leap from the Nintendo 64 to the GameCube. Playing Smash 64, and then you finally get your hands on Melee, you don't know, like your brain couldn't process.
Like Smash 64 is fun. It's a fun game.
I love it. No, I love
on a whole nother level.
Yeah, dude, I love that. I put hundreds or maybe thousands of hours in Smash 64. Favorite 64 game of all time. But you go to Melee, it was such a big leap. It was such a big jump. And my brain couldn't process how big that leap was.
And the thing about Melee is it's aged very well. Like the graphics still look pretty good to this day.
Yeah, man, it's still really good, man.
The only thing I can't stand are Melee stands.
Oh, yeah. Like me is like I enjoy a game for its time and what it was, but I move on. You know, I don't really
like. I don't mind people wanting to play Melee in tournaments. Yeah. Like that's fine, but they treat Melee like it's like covered in gold, like it's the best Smash Brothers ever. You know, it's like Melee is like the greatest thing. Like. It's a good game. The obsession with it is weird.
Yeah, I enjoy all the Smash games, but of course, there's some that's better than others. Like I said, I guess you would say that my least favorite Smash would be Smash Wii U. Even though I had all my favorite characters and stuff like that, Smash Wii U I played less compared to 64 Melee Brawl and
I don't think I've
Ultimate.
ever played the Wii U version. I own the 3DS version, but yeah.
Yeah. Now 3DS, I think I spent out so much time on the 3DS, so I guess that's why I probably played it less, whatever like that. But it was something about I guess because once we got to the Wii U version, they stripped so many of the single player features, like the no return of the subspace emissary. They got rid of that because Sakurai said that because of the age of YouTube, he didn't like the fact is that he put all this time into creating the subspace emissary, and he want the fans to be surprised by it.
Well, this is the problem: is create gameplay experiences instead of having a cutscene where Sonic and Mario team up. Why don't you literally do a level where Mario has to race Sonic? Like, yeah, you can watch a YouTube video of it, but playing that level is an entirely different feeling than watching a video of it.
Yeah, because so they removed they removed the best single player features. Like, so after like my friends stopped playing the Wii U version, it was only me left playing it, and of course I'll play online every once in a while or whatever like that. But most of the time, I used to spend most of the time playing the game by myself, and I enjoyed the features. But
I think this is pretty accurate. I feel like, yeah, like the people that like Melee the best, like to feel the fluidity of the gameplay of it the best. Yeah, and like I know there's stuff like wave dashing. I don't know. It's like the game is like Smash is a party game, but they try and treat it like, oh, Melee is like chess, man. They treat it. I don't know. It's
bro. I never heard of competitive Smash until Brawl. That's when I heard of competitive Smash, and that's what made me discover about Smash Bros. Melee, because I knew nothing about wave dashing and Melee at all. Like I said, I would play against my friends, go to my friend's house. I will, in school that we would have our own tournaments in school, but no one wave dash. We didn't know any. We wasn't like hardcore at it, but we would turn all the weapons off, and we would do 1v1, and we go at it and stuff like that. But it wasn't until Brawl came out and online play came out on Brawl, and with YouTube and everything, that's when I started discovering that there was a competitive scene for Smash or whatever. And
the net code for Brawl on the Wii with such shit.
Oh, bro, like it was horrendous.
it's like the words rollback net code had never been uttered in the office of Nintendo ever.
Bro, it was hard. It was unplayable. Like it was unplayable. And that's what killed. That's why I never last long, like casually. Because people were hoping it was going to extend the life to online, but once you got to play the online, it was terrible. It was a terrible experience.
I remember playing some online with 3DS, and it worked actually kind of well. Like it worked decently well.
Yeah, yeah, man. But yeah, man. Smash was something. I think for me with Ultimate, I enjoyed Ultimate. I played it more than Wii U. I think I started getting burnout from fatigue from Smash, because I don't know, like if Sakurai or Nintendo decided to do a new Smash, I think they should go back to basics. Because with Ultimate, even though I like Ultimate, I love the inclusion of characters. It started straying away what Smash Bros. Was. It was a celebration of Nintendo in its history, and that's why I enjoy Smash Bros. Because all the different Nintendo characters. But then when we got the Ultimate.
Oh, we're getting a new Smash. I mean that.
Yeah.
It's literally one of their best selling series, and it's an infinite hype generator.
Yeah,
just for the character reveal. So they're gonna do it. But I do think if they do it, because like you did Ultimate when you brought everyone in. What's left to do but just strip things down to the basics?
Yeah, basics and then take all the OG characters and revitalize them, make them brand new, give them new move sets to make them feel like new characters. Because Sakurai said himself, like the reason why he did Ultimate because there was no chance that this would ever happen because they still had the license to some of these characters from Wii U version. So he said, we might as well just jump into the next one and get to working on it while we still have some of these licenses or we have to renegotiate, deals and stuff like that. So he said, don't ever expect this to happen again. I remember he said that in the direct. So that's why I'm thinking that with the next Smash, they'll take it back to basics. Because the thing that was disappointing to me with the, as we got to Ultimate was like the lack of representation of certain like Nintendo characters. Like for instance, Zelda should have way more representation than having multiple versions of Link. And then yes, some people
Well,
say
you got
yeah,
Zelda, you got Sheik. What else is there to do?
yeah.
Like
You had Link, you had Toon Link, you had Young Link. Then you had Zelda, you had Sheik, and then you had Ganondorf. But Ganondorf was a Captain Falcon clone. He had none of his move sets
All right,
that
well, let me
represented
ask you
Gan.
this question then: if you're gonna have another version of Zelda, what would you do then?
Now, if we had another version of Zelda, scrap the other Zelda. Like, we don't need two different versions of Zelda. Just give us one Zelda. I want Breath of the Wild Zelda. She's my favorite incarnation of Zelda. My favorite design of Zelda, Breath of the Wild version of Zelda. I love that design of Zelda. I love the personality of that Zelda and everything.
I love her, but I hate. I love her. I love watching her walk away more.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. But it's so many. It's a great move sets you can make with her because if you played Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, loved it. She had a great move set with the Sheikah tab and stuff like that she can do. They can do something with that. There's no way in the world that you didn't put. They decided to make Skull Kid from Majora's Mask an assist trophy. Garaham from Skyward Sword, one of the villains, they decided to make him an assist trophy. There was a lot of characters that was from Zelda. They decided to make assist trophies. I'm like, why aren't they playable characters?
Yeah, so, there was a lot of that during the Smash Ultimate days. Like, you had assist trophies and he had spirits.
Yeah, like it was just nutty. I like how Zelda is one of y'all biggest franchises, and yet we got 3 versions of Link, and we got Zelda and Sheik, and then we have Ganondorf, who don't really play or represent any of his movesets or anything that represents him in any of his games. I'm like, what are y'all doing? So hopefully,
by the way, I sent you a photo on Twitter DMs.
Oh, Twitter DMs, yeah, and I'm like, yo, like, yeah. Dude, I remember that was. I remember when I first saw that. I was like, okay. I was like, shit. I was like, this version of Zelda. So this, I was like, yeah, this version of Zelda is kind of stacked right there. Yeah, she's my favorite version of this incarnation of Zelda. But yeah, if they do it over, reboot it, which I'm all for a reboot. Just stick to the Nintendo history. I want some Nintendo characters. I want more Kirby. I want some more Kirby representation.
I wanted Crash to be part of Smash. That's one thing that disappointed me. I wanted Crash to be in there.
Yeah. That would have rounded everything off. If they added Crash in there and stuff like that. But yeah, man, like if they reboot it, just stick to Nintendo characters and retool everybody with their latest move sets and stuff like that. Yeah, Minecraft Steve is also broken character. Yeah, well, that's the meta now. Steve, it says Steve, Sonic, and Kazuya, and I think it's one more other character. It's like 4 characters. Oh yeah, Game & Watch. Yeah, and Game & Watch. They're like the meta.
I mean, the thing is, like, with every patch, the broken character changes. Like, I remember, like, people were mad for Little Mac when he was introduced. Bayonetta ruled Smash 4.
Cloud, Cloud was stupid busted in Smash 4 as well. It was Cloud
he
and
was
Bayonetta.
busted with his Buster Sword.
Yeah. Cloud and Bayonetta were broken in the Smash Wii U. They were stupid busted. And then they nerfed Cloud and Bayonetta once they got to Smash Ultimate. But yeah, man, I enjoy Ultimate. But the Smash Wii U is like my least favorite one, even though it had some of my favorite characters in there. And I like the level designs that they had and stuff, but it didn't keep it. The retention that I had on it wasn't there compared to the past ones.
Yeah. So, what characters not added to Smash would you add in? Like, for example, I want Knuckles in Smash. I think Knuckles is perfect for Smash.
That's a good question.
Because he's a puncher. He's like a brawler.
That makes sense.
I think Knuckles would make a really good Smash character.
Well, the character I always wanted, and Sakurai was teasing it, and we all thought that it was probably a possibility. I wanted Chrono from Chrono Trigger to be in it because he did a stage. You know how he used to do those daily picks of the day leading up to the launch of Smash Wii U. He used a stage creator to create the bridge on Chrono Trigger that you fight on and stuff, and the mechanical dragon. He made that on the stage builder, and it had everybody. I was losing my mind. I said, Sakurai,
Can you imagine the assist trophies to be like the double and triple text from Chrono Trigger?
Yeah, dude. I said, bro, like Sakurai, do not play with my feelings like this. Like I really thought that he was hinting, like, and then he did another thing talking about a clock and time and stuff like that. I'm like, please, Sakurai, do not do this to me. If you put Chrono in here, I will, because I wished I had filmed my reaction when Cloud was first revealed for the Wii U. I was taking my daughter when she was like, how old was she at the time? Like 5, maybe like 4 or 5. And I took her, she was going to her gymnastics class, and I took her there, and it was a Nintendo Direct going on. So I wasn't there to see the Direct.
Mm-hmm.
When I came home, my brother said, yo, check this out. So I was like, what? They turned it on. And the moment I saw the stars and like the space in the stars and stuff, I automatically knew it was Final Fantasy VII. I said, no, y'all better not be doing this. Y'all better not be doing this. And then I heard the music. I'm like, no, y'all, please, like, do not do this to me. Do not play with my feelings.
Future generations will not understand the hype of a new Smash drop. Like, people do not. Like, honestly, that's my favorite time to be a gamer, is when they're releasing these trailers and just the hype.
My brothers grabbed the phone at the last minute, because while they was doing it, I literally fell to my knees like I was praying to God, and my eyes started getting watery. I said, y'all better not do this to me. And when I saw Cloud boots hit the ground, I said, no, Cloud is better not. Cloud is in this game. Saw the Buster Sword, dude. I was in tears. I started shouting in the room and joy. I said, they did it. Like
that was like me when they announced Mega.
No one saw this coming.
For me, my hypest moment was Mega Man, because like this is during the Mega Man drought. This is like
bro. The Wii U. I remember this because the Wii U version of Smash Brothers was Nintendo's first time doing a direct or whatever, right? And I remember,
they have Dragon Quest characters in there.
Yeah, it was E3, and I remember my daughter's godfather came over, and we was all watching the E3 together, right? And I remember the direct stream started messing up, so he had his cell phone, and he was continuing watching it, right, while the Smash Wii U trailer was still playing, and he put his hand on his mouth with his eyes was big. He put his hand on his mouth while he looked at the phone. And he was hyperventilating. I was like, what? He said, bro, you ain't gonna believe who's added to the game. I was like, bro, please don't tell me. Let me just wait. So when I refreshed the page, right then and there, when it had the characters looking up at the mountain, it was Mega Man, bro.
You want to talk about like hype E3 moments? So probably my favorite E3 is the Sony press conference from 2018.
What now? What game did they show?
So this was when they announced. Yeah, okay. All right, Cassie, we get the message. No, he has technical issues. They announced Shenmue 3.
Oh, okay.
And also they announced Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I was in the.
I love the opening line. A promise fulfilled. It's like, yeah.
Actually, I was in the movie theaters when I watched it, because Sony had the presentations playing in selected movie theaters. Wow. So yeah, they was doing it for a while. I think it started in 2017 or it was 2016. It started then.
I never heard about that.
Yeah. Every time when they had special presentations or when they had E3s, Sony had their presentations and stuff like that. You was able to go to the movie theaters and watch it. So you would have to sign up to get the ticket or whatever like that, and then you had to go show the ticket in order for you to get inside. So I was in the movie theaters with my brothers when that Final Fantasy VII remake trailer was showing, and it was a hell of an experience because it was nothing but gamers in the movie theaters. And they also had revealed, there was another one I went to where they revealed No Man's Sky when it was in the theaters. But yeah, everybody lost their mind in the movie theaters when they showed Final Fantasy VII.
It's all right, Caster. Caster's having some internet trouble. We got Lucas from Mother 3. We need Mother 3 in general. I like how that haunts Reggie even to this day.
Yeah.
If I ever meet Reggie, I will have him sign a Japanese copy of Mother 3.
I always wanted, man, that was my dream, man. I always wanted to meet Reggie. Reggie was my role model when it came to like
I mean, he still can. He
business.
does speak engagements.
Oh yeah, true that. And he was like my role model when it came to like business and presentations and how he presented himself professionally and stuff. And I like when I used to like when I was in college, before I graduated, I had my business professionalism class where we always had to do a lot of public speaking. We had to do a lot of business presentations in front of the class every week and stuff. And I modeled myself after him, how he present himself, how he conduct himself, and how he just draws attention. And oh man, he was like such a big inspiration. Like I say, I gotta meet.
Do you remember that one Game Awards where they had like the head of all 3 companies
Yeah.
on stage, and Reggie just dominated just because he's just like a
His
big
presence.
barrel of charisma.
Yeah, his presence, man. Like that was like he was my role model, man.
My name is Reggie Fils-Aimé, and I'm about kicking ass and playing a video game.
Yeah,
That's the way he introduced himself to the world. I love it.
Man. When it came to the world of business and gaming, man, he was my role model.
The thing I like about Reggie is he embraced the community, like the whole Reginator meme. He like. It's like he felt like, yeah, I see your jokes. I like those jokes. Like it's just not necessarily a one of us, but like it felt like he respected people. You know?
Yeah.
Like the whole even when we ask him about Mother 3, he just groans and sighs, but he's like, yeah, I get it. You know.
Yeah. The whole thing with Mother, right? That's because of licensing issues, right, or something like that. Because
I believe
the music and stuff. Cause they had a hard time.
And content, because I believe from what I hear, like if they released it, it would cause like a huge controversy on Twitter or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Because I remember it took a while for them to report the Mother 2, like to report it because of the music and the licensing and stuff like that. So that's why that would always held that back. Like we could never get a Mother 3 and stuff. For me personally, I don't know why they didn't do any type of remakes for like the consoles and stuff, like with the graphics of Wind Waker. That would be awesome.
The problem with like Mother / Earthbound is it's like the Shenmue fan base. There's a few of them, but they're very loud.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I mean, and Earthbound is niche. I mean, it is niche. Like I said, I would love a perfect like remake of Mother 2.
I'm waiting for the Space World demo of Earthbound 64 to leak. You know, it's on like a disc somewhere.
Yeah. I heard about that. And
if Dinosaur Planet can leak, so can Earthbound 64.
Yeah, and I remember, because I remember when it came to Mother in general, man. It was another game that I had gotten Mother 2, for Super Nintendo. It was for, I think, how old was I? Was that 10 years old? I can't remember. But I remember my parents bought it for me for my birthday. It came in this big ass box because it came with a strategy guide. It came with a legit strategy guide. It came with scratch and sniff stickers where you could smell nests and you could it smell like a school book bag.
This game stinks.
Yeah, dude. It was pretty unique, and even the strategy guide also had like funny ads in it, like promos and ads in it, like as if it was like a magazine in that world. And stuff. It was very creative and everything. But yeah, the strategy guy like this thick because there was a lot of stuff in that game, and I can understand how a kid wouldn't understand it.
All right, Caster, you've been pretty quiet, so I got a question for you. What E3 moment is the hypest for you? What was your favorite E3 moment?
I really don't really have a really hyped E3 moment because I can't really think of anything on the spot, actually. I don't know. I can't think of anything right now.
Well, I know one for me is, I saw this live, is during the Cyberpunk presentation. Like Keanu Reeves walked on stage and like the whole breathtaking moment. Like I remember that I watched that happen live. That was wow.
Yeah,
it's just so breathtaking. You're breathtaking. No, you're breathtaking. You're all like just. It's like the most Keanu Reeves thing ever.
Yeah, it's so many moments that E3 had where it was hype. Like I said, the Final Fantasy VII remake hype moment for me. I'm not gonna lie, when the Wii U, when they announced, they showed off the teaser to Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I was like, whoa, what? Because I was already like a fiend for some anything Xeno related. So I was hyped when they first showed that trailer off as well.
Yeah.
When they showed off Melee, it was so many moments, man, that really get you. Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 13 when they first showed that off, and Sonic 06, and they all turned out bad for me. But those E3 trailers was hyped at that time because
one for me was Twilight Princess. You did that trailer, and then Miyamoto showed up with like the sword and the shield. It's like,
yeah. When it came to Twilight Princess, that was like one of my least favorite Zelda games. The
hype for it was so real, though.
No. The hype was real. No, I agree. The hype was real, but when I finally got the game, I don't know, man. It just, to me,
history has shown Wind Waker to be the better game,
bro. Now, Wind Waker. All right, Wind Waker.
People like here's the thing I love. Gen Z does not understand the hatred.
I'm about to get into that. It made me Wind Waker made me a hater, but turned me into a believer. Like I said before, when you saw the Space World tech demo of Zelda, you saw Link and Ganon fighting. I said, "Oh, this is next gen Zelda." And then we finally get Zelda, and they announced it and showed it all. It was some cartoon. I'm like, "What? What is this? Like, Nintendo, what are you doing?" Like, yo, like I was a hater. I was in the forums where everybody else hating and stuff. But when they released that promo demo, where you get the Ocarina of Time for the GameCube.
Oh, the Master Quest, the Master Quest.
You get the Master Quest, and it also come with the demos. It had a Wind Waker demo and stuff like that. And when I sat down and played it, I was so quiet, was because I said, "Yo, this shit is actually good." I like, "Yo, I like this. It looks good. It feels good. It plays really good." And I like the premise of the story and stuff. And yeah, man, I became a true believer of the game, and I think it's maybe my number one 3D Zelda game of all time. I mean, Ocarina of Time is still fighting for this. It's still like there with it because Ocarina of Time was number one. But once I got to Wind Waker,
okay. Here's the question for you: favorite 2D Zelda game?
Well, I don't really play most like I played the NES one because the NES version was my first game I ever played at 4 years old. So that's why I'm a Legend of Zelda fan. Yeah. And I beat the game when I was 5. But when they later on, I played Link to the Past. I like Link to the Past, but I never played any. I don't like the handheld Zelda games. I'm not a handheld guy, so I always skip those. Like I said, like I like the console experience. I don't really like handheld experiences. So so when it came to I guess the 2D, I don't know. It would probably be like Link to the Past or something. But 3D Zelda games, enjoyed, man. Like
Link's Awakening was my first Zelda game.
That's everybody's first Zelda game, to be honest. Everybody I know who played Zelda or heard of Zelda that was their first game. Link's Awakening. I bought the remake actually. I bought that day one. It's still in the plastic on the Switch.
Oh, you need to play it.
I gotta get to it.
I'm waiting for them to remake the Oracle games. I played Oracle.
I believe they will. I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to do all the Game Boy games.
Well, because the Oracle games are using the Link's Awakening engine anyway. So like I don't think there's really too much things. So Caster, favorite 2D and 3D Zelda game, go.
Let's see here. My favorite 3D Zelda game. I really enjoyed this might be controversial, but I really enjoyed, the Breath of the Wild, I think that's pretty.
I'm kind of with you. That's probably my favorite 3D as well.
I couldn't get into the Breath of the Wild.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't. I beat it. It took me a year to beat it because I kept playing it on and off. The game was boring. It didn't have any like memorable soundtracks. I hated the shrines. I did all 120 shrines in one playthrough. I didn't like the fact. Because what spoiled me with Zelda games, Ocarina of Time really got me when it came to story. It actually started giving you a story. I mean, Zelda games had stories, but Ocarina of Time started really pushing story. And then when Wind Waker came out, Wind Waker
Link to the Past really had a really good story.
Oh yeah. But Wind Waker really stepped it up when it came to story.
Mhm.
And then I started loving Zelda for its story. So when we saw the Breath of the Wild trailer, you see all these cinematic cutscenes and stuff, only to find out from those trailers, they were all Zelda memories, and those were all optional. And I wanted a linear storytelling of Breath of the Wild, but no, like you wake up 100 years later, and now here you go, you're able to do what you want, and now you have to explore this. If you want to find these little elements or find these story pieces, you have to go travel the map to find these things.
But that's why I like Breath of the Wild is choice.
And I like the choice. I like the choice.
Is it a perfect game? No, it needs dungeons. It needs more content. But I love the freedom. I love how it's like, oh, here's a pack of moblins. Yeah, sure, I could go and swords blazings, or there's a rock up here. I could just push the rock, or I could light this thing on fire. Like there's different ways to approach situations.
Yeah, I love the exploration. No, they got that right. But for me, none of the exploration felt rewarding. Like you will either find a weapon that you already collected already, a stupid rupee, or something like that. Poop. Yeah. You find like you do all this traveling, and there's really no real rewards for your creative ways to reach certain locations and spots. Also, too, there weren't variety of enemy mobs, so after a while, even the enemy encounters became redundant.
The problem is they use like colors. It's you went from the red moblins to the blue moblins or whatever.
The different variant and stuff.
I'll grant you that one. Enemy variety definitely could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that people ragging on is like the weapons degradation. I actually love it because it forces you to use different weapons. Because let's all be honest, if there was no degradation, everyone would just use the Master Sword.
No, I
like it. I like it because even if you have the Master Sword, you'll use that stick because it degrades faster. And plus, like because you're constantly cycling through weapons, it doesn't get boring because you're not using the same weapon for long periods of time.
Yeah, I agree. Now, this is the thing. I agree. Like I didn't mind the degradation. I wish they would have did it like where you had like I didn't like the fact that my whole inventory is just filled with weapons, and it's the same weapon types and stuff like that. I would have liked if you was able to actually earn and like you discover these weapon types, and now they're permanent, but you will have to like sharpen them every once in a while and stuff like that, because you use it too much, they dull out. It don't take the same amount of damage.
My thing would be a repair bench. I think we're kind of essentially talking about the same thing here. But I think like a repair bench at like the stables, not something easily accessible everywhere, but like accessible enough, like at the stables and like a house, to where you have to like repair the weapons. If you don't, they break and they disappear. But like that way, if you have a weapon, you can actually use it for longer, but you can't. But you have to like go somewhere to repair. I think that kind of balances out.
Yeah, I think they would have balanced it out. And then the incentive to try different weapons besides the Master Sword is that certain weapons has an advantage over certain enemy mobs. If they would have gave us variety, so then now like okay, the Master Sword is really useful when you fight in these the Mollusts of Ganon, when you fight those creatures.
The Guardians, they're really good against the Guardians.
They're good against those. So the Master Sword is perfect for this, but doesn't mean the Master Sword can just one shot or be good against these particular mobs. But a spear may be better for this.
Weapon degradation is like those shitty starter weapons. You can use them literally till end game because like, all right, I got this stick. I'm going to use this stick because if that breaks, I don't care.
Yeah,
kind of thing. It's like, oh, it's this enemy. It's like these creases are coming at me. The bats. Like, all right, I'm just gonna use my wooden club. Could do it because like I don't care if that breaks.
Yeah, and that would bring even more versatility into the combat. It's like, okay, should I waste my weapons like strength and grade on this fight, or let me just use this weapon that's just sitting right here that an enemy had dropped or whatever. Use that and take damage first with this, and
the other thing, like how the base stuff is wooden, and that's good for two reasons. One, you could use all that club. You can use it as a torch if you're trying to light stuff.
Yep.
Also, if you're walking around in a thunderstorm, if anything metal, you'll attract the lightning. So you have to use the wooden weapons.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Like, and then, like I said before, the shrines, I got sick of them after a while. They had the same design to them and stuff. Even though the puzzles are different, I just got tired of looking at that same blue, hue that they had and stuff like that. It was getting sickening. And then the lack of dungeons, and then the divine dungeons, the beast dungeons, did not like those at all. Those were so lame.
They were fun, but a little bit too short, in my opinion.
And this is the thing I did, but this is the thing I did like about Breath of the Wild is that I got on alongside my dad, my brothers, and us, and we all approached the games differently. My brother Keo wanted to he wanted to see how far early on in the game he can explore the entire map of Hyrule, so you can have every location available.
And that's the best part of this game. It's like literally from the start. You literally once you get off the Great Plateau, you can walk straight into Ganondorf's castle and fight the final boss right then and there.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a bad time. But they let you do it.
And my thing was like, I don't even know where to start, but I said, let me just start looking for shrines. My brother Keo, because he did a lot of exploring more than I did, he found the Master Sword. I like the fact is that the Master Sword, you had to find it. Like that's what's so dope about it. My brother said, yo, I found the Master Sword. I'm like, yo, where the hell is the Master Sword? Like, where is it? He said, yo, it's in this forest, the 7th. He said, yo, I'm gonna try to lift it. And it takes your hearts away. He said, damn, like, what do I need to do? Found out you needed more hearts and stuff like that. So I thought, I started to play slick. I started getting the food to give you extra hearts.
I tried that too.
I did that. I said, yo, I want to play slick. Let me do that. And it didn't work. It didn't work. So yeah, man, I liked it that we all.
And that's the best part is when you find the Master Sword and you find out you don't have enough hearts, that forces you to go do the shrines. I like the game design.
Yeah. I like that. Now, and then this is the thing. Once I got the Master Sword, the game became easy after that. When it was time to fight the Ganon.
It makes Guardians a cakewalk. If you know what to do.
It was just a breeze. I made it my mission to get the Master Sword before I did anything else. I made it my mission to get the Master Sword.
That's why I think that's why I feel like the Master Sword needing to recharge is actually a good thing, because like I said, if we didn't have that, once people got the Master Sword, they would just use the Master Sword all the time and get boring.
Yeah, because the Master Sword, I didn't do the Divine Beast at all. My brother, little brother, DX, he started doing the beasts before we did. He didn't get the Master Sword yet. So I ended up getting the Master Sword first before I did the beast. So by the time it was time to do the beast, I was breezing through them. Because the Master Sword is strong against those.
The only beast that I have a problem with when I do playthroughs is the electrical one. That's the only one that I ever have issues with. The other ones are fairly easy or simple for me.
Right.
The flying one, oh my god, that's like the easiest shrine. Like, and that boss is so easy.
Yeah, man. It was just Zelda. It was just something, man. It was just something.
So Caster, what's your opinion on the Breath of the Wild? Then we'll start wrapping up.
Well, I mean, that's what the whole thing about the Wild is. What is Breath of the Wild? The Breath of the Wild is your freedom and choice. And for me, I got a lot of the story from just the environment myself. When you're up in Hateno Village, you think, wow, how this village has been here for 100 years, but how do they survive and everything? It's like, well, they're kind of isolated. So, do they even know that there's a Zelda there? Do they know that they're even in the Kingdom of Hyrule? I just ask these questions of myself. So a lot of the story beats that, you say you're missing, for me, I just kind of wondered about them. It made me think and wonder of what is going on here. It made me ask these questions, instead of just them being forced.
Visual storytelling.
It was visual storytelling. It made me ask these questions because if you notice, if you look at the map, all the major villages are out to the rim of the map because Ganon's in the middle. They're far removed. But the thing is, no one really talks about the Calamity or anything. So I'm thinking to myself, when in Antino Village, I'm like, these people are probably just isolated, and they don't really, conversation with, they only have limited conversation with other peoples,
it's like maybe they're aware of it and be like, oh yeah, you see those swirly things in the background? Yeah, that exists. We just don't talk about it.
Yeah, pretty much, But yeah, just for me, it was a lot of just asking questions and coming up with those story beats of my own. But yeah, a lot of the other complaints, are valid. The dungeons could be better. The shrines did get repetitive. That's why actually I did not play it for the longest time because I did get pissed off at the fact that the weapons degrade, but once you get over it, it's something you just get used to.
Yeah, I think people over complain about it a little bit.
Yeah, and then the last Zelda game, the last 2D Zelda game that I actually beat was actually last year. I beat the Minish Cap, and I actually thought that was actually a pretty decent game. I think people get way too hard on it, even though I know it's not a mainline Zelda game. But I thought it was fun, and the shrinking mechanic is actually pretty nice how they incorporate that.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are too hard on that game.
Fair enough. So we're gonna start wrapping up here. So, Mugen Lord, what do you got going on, and where can people find you?
Oh yeah. So what I got going on? I got a couple of projects coming up. Starting with I just started clearing out my backlog of games and start doing reviews. So what I do now is when I review a game, after I do that review video, which is more scripted, and then next I do a post review where I go a little bit deeper, give my thoughts on certain things that I didn't have in the actual review itself. People like that more because they love Mugen Lord when he goes off when I go off the cuff and stuff like that and really go deep in on stuff like that. So yeah, the next one I have is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Since I finally got around to finishing that because I did Final Fantasy 16. I finished that last year, but now I just finally got around to doing the review and stuff like that. So I'm just catching up on my backlog, and then on top of that, I'm finishing off Stellar Blade because I put that game down after 2 weeks after the game launched. But now I'm picking that back up so I can get reviews ready for that. I just updated as far as my comic books are concerned, I just updated my Venus Orion Comics website with some since it's the first of the month. Every first of the month or every time a new month hits, I always want to update it with new stuff. So you go check it out. It got some new news and updates and what to expect from Venus Orion Comics and some of the events that I've been to and how we're going to try to expand Venus Orion Comics. And also I added a new Paragon, which is my characters in my universe. I added to the Paragons of Fate tab on the website on VenusOrionComics.com. So you can better check out that characters origin, their stats and their abilities and stuff like that, alongside the other 8 characters, Paragons that I have on there so far. And yes, I'll be at Liberty Comic Con. For those who may be interested, it's going to be at the Greater Philadelphia Expo in the King of Prussia area and everything. So I'll have a booth. You can go check me out. As far as Chapter 2 of VK, my comic book series, we begin in development this summer. Starting this month for Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is going to be 74 pages. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty long book. It's going to introduce a lot of world building, a lot of characters, more plot threads and mechanics to the universe itself that I can't wait to share with you guys and everything. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't gotten my newsletter, get on my newsletter because you can get discounts for my website and stuff like that to get merchandise and comics and stuff like that. I have if I have to show this off real quick, don't want to hold y'all up too long, but this is my store variant for my comic book. This is the store variant. It's only exclusive. Nice. It's only exclusive to the store. It's my trigger cover. As I said before, when it comes to my comics and my universe, every piece of imagery has a meaning to it. It has clues to it and everything. So trigger means something. So when you read the book, you can try to figure out what that means and stuff. And then in the back, it has this mysterious woman here, and you can try to piece together who this could possibly be. And then it has the Elohim doctrine, which what I like about creating universes. You can create your own religion, you create your own scriptures.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So yeah, I created my own scripture from the Elohim doctrine and stuff like that in here. Yes, you can. Right now it's sold out. You can pre-order it on my website because I got to order this week. I got to order a new set of this because it went out. People just bought them up and stuff like that. So you can pre-order that, or you can just get the regular base cover of VK Chapter 1.
Yeah, I love your stuff, man. I love it. Keep going.
Yeah. So yeah, you can definitely check those out and everything. So looking forward to see you guys if y'all happen to wanting to come to my come meet me at Liberty Comic Con and all.
It's a bit of a drive for me.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But that pretty much wraps everything up, man. Like I'm looking forward.
Good.
Glad you had let me on this platform. To talk
Yeah,
about this
yeah.
stuff.
Like I had you on before. It's just been a matter of like finding a topic, you know. But I'm really glad. I'm really glad to have you on because I always love chatting with you. Got to have you on more.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Caster, same to you. What you got going on, and where can we find you?
The press fan base knows where to find me. I'm on Twitter, on YouTube, and what I got going,
boys.
yeah, and what I got going on, not really much right now, but I am planning for stuff for the future. Hopefully, have some good stuff for you all on my YouTube channel, and yeah.
All right. Well, as for myself, this Saturday and Sunday, you can find me at Downriver Comic Con in Lincoln Park, Michigan, at the high school over there. The week after that, I'll be doing the Ann Arbor Comics Arts Festival, which will be at the Ann Arbor, Michigan Public Library. Those will be pretty fun. In the meantime, Screecher 2 is well on the way. In fact, Screecher number 4 is well on the way. Volume 2 is in production. I've got the first 2 issues finished. I'm going to start working on issue 7 here shortly. That's going to be really cool. I should have a cover for you here in the next few weeks as well as maybe starting some signups for Screecher 4 due this October. Thank you, Mugen. Thank you, Caster. And thank you, guys. Please give us a like, comment, subscribe if you're so willing. But remember, I can only show you the door. You're the one to walk through it.